According to the CDC, men are being diagnosed with melanoma skin cancer at a much higher rate than women, 58% to 42%. And they are also dying at an even higher rate than women, 65% to 35%. Doctors say that's because men are less likely to use sunscreen, wear protective clothing, or visit a dermatologist. Last year, I learned the value of getting checked as my dermatologist caught a cancer spot right here on my face early, and the surgery was a success. My surgeon and one of his other patients, who was diagnosed with the deadliest form of skin cancer, agreed to help show you why more men need to do a better job of protecting their skin and getting regular checkups. No matter where you are, cheering on the world's best golfers at Oakmont Country Club, or playing around with your friends. You could be out cutting your own greens at home, or cooling off at Sandcastle. But if you're outside in the 412, you have to be aware of the invisible threat of ultraviolet rays.
It's okay to play in the sun, to have fun in the sun, but more importantly is just there's a way to do so responsibly, and that is to just protect yourself.
Dr. Jeffrey Lim is a board-certified dermatologist who performed Mohs surgery on the left side of my face, removing basal cell carcinoma, the most common form of skin cancer, and then stitching me back up.
We like to see them at your stage because they're relatively small. They're easy to repair once we remove the tumor. We know that you're going to realize a complete cure with a great outcome.
Little spots of cancer can become big problems if they're not detected.
They can bleed. They can become even painful. Sometimes many times in their earliest form.
If not treated early, they can spread throughout the body and become disfiguring. Basal and squamous cell carcinomas are the most prevalent, with more than 5 million cases a year.
Combined, they make up more cancer than prostate, breast, lung, and colorectal cancer combined.
But the most serious skin cancer is melanoma, claiming thousands of lives a year. Men dying at a higher rate than women because of delayed detection and treatment.
I was genuinely shocked.
Jim Crooks has no history of cancer in his family. A routine visit to his dermatologist discovered a spot Jim thought was just an age mark. The surprise diagnosis saved his life.
The term melanoma, I mean, I've had friends that I have lost with melanoma, and so that put the fear of God in my soul.
Jim is a 2-time melanoma survivor. He saw Dr. Lim to remove the second tricky tumor close to his right eye in the same area that already had been treated and where he had scar tissue.
How do we put them back together again in a way that is not just, we can say he's cured, but do so elegantly and aesthetically, because he's a community man, he runs a business, and also he has to present to his family.
Jim told me he's beyond thrilled with the results. The cancer was removed, and even though he said his post-op photos are not pretty, he had complete confidence in Dr. Lim.
I said, first he's a butcher, and then he turns into this amazing artist, like fine art of putting you back together.
6 months after surgery, you can't even tell that Jim had any issues at all. He will continue his checkups every 6 months, and he wanted to share his story to help more men.
I think, having honest discussions, trying to get people to not be afraid of going to a dermatologist and getting this baseline, and facing your dragon.
So Dr. Lim says guys should do their homework and know the ABCDEs of skin cancer, watching for these 5 signs of melanoma: asymmetry, border irregularity, color changes, a diameter larger than a pencil eraser, and evolution over time. Because most men avoid those early signs, Dr. Lim wants guys to get in the habit of yearly appointments with a dermatologist. He says, check your birthday suit on your birthday. Also, choose a sunscreen with an SPF of 30 or higher for broad spectrum protection. And he says use it every day. He steers patients towards sunscreens containing zinc oxide or titanium dioxide with the reminder to reapply every 2 hours. Jim Crooks follows those rules now, and not only does he wear a hat, he encourages his customers to do the same at his 3rd-generation clothing store.
I buy a lot of hats for the store because I know the importance of sun protection now. I'm an advocate of what we have in Western Pennsylvania is amazing.
A great spokesperson right there. While Dr. Lim recommends using products with zinc oxide or titanium dioxide, he says the best one really is the one you're going to use and use regularly. So great advice there.
Certainly
Dr.
is.
Lim.
In fact, I saw this yesterday when you did it the first time, Mike, and I made an appointment for myself.
You did not?
I did.
Way to go, Jim. Way to go, Dr. Lim.
Yeah,
Get more people to sign up.
absolutely.